Okay, here we go. All right, so today is June 3rd, 2020, and I'm going to do the next section here um, from a father's heart and stories from school. So last time I got up to my first job, which is page 49, and I'm going to continue from there, starting from there. As we already talked about it. Okay, let me get my little marker here so I know where I'm at. Okay, my first job. My age at the time I started, I was a box boy at Johnson's Market. I started on Saturday, November 2, 1974, and I was 16 years old at that time. The reason I started working, my dad helped me get a job. He also worked at Johnson's as a meat cutter. He did that for many, many years. I started working because I wanted to start saving some money for when I started going to college. Okay. My responsibilities. Well, let's see, what can I say? I bagged the groceries, I cleaned the check stands, I returned items back to the shelves. You know how sometimes you buy something and then you think, I don't want this item, and you just kind of leave it there. Well, somebody has to kind of collect all of those, put them together in a basket, and then put them back on the shelves. So that's what I did. I collected the shopping carts from the parking lot. So you take your shop, you go shopping, you pay for your groceries, you go to your car, and then what are you going to do with the basket? Well, it'd be nice if you put it away. Some people do. Some people just left it right there in the parking lot. So my job was to go collect them, and then bring them back into the store. Okay. Part of my job was also to clean the store. So if it was slow, and we didn't have a lot of customers coming in, then I would clean the front windows, I would clean the shelves, I would clean the check stands, do whatever needed to be done. So I did that for about 4 years as a box boy. Then I got promoted and I became a clerk. So I worked stock, so that was in the back. I would put the items onto the shelf, and then later on I was a checker, so I worked on the check stand. I did the deli section, so I worked up the milk and frozen section, and I did all that. I did graveyard. Graveyard is coming like from midnight to 8 in the morning, or 2 in the morning to like 8 or 10 or whatever. So I did that for a while. Not that long, really, maybe about 6 months, and then I started working a regular day shift. But I did that for quite a while, 17 years. What I learned from my job, I learned how to be responsible. I learned how to interact with the customers. I've always been relatively shy and quiet, and having to talk with the customers helped me to talk and interact with people. And I would, somebody would ask, okay, well, where's this item? Where's that item? So I would tell them, well, it's at this aisle or that aisle, and my boss would tell me, well, don't just tell them, go and take your time and walk with them and show them where everything's at. So customer service, putting the customer first, that was what we were taught, and that's how I was trained. I also learned to take pride in the job well done, you know. So my dad talked to me. I remember when I first started working, he told me, when you get your paycheck, it's not from the company. It's not the company that pays you, it's the customers. Because the customers come, they pay you with the money that they pay the market, you know, and then the market pays you. So it's really the customers first. So you keep the customers happy, guess what? They'll come back. And if they come back, they'll bring their money with them, and then you get more and more money. But if you treat the customers rudely or badly, or they have a bad experience, they're not going to come back. They're going to go somewhere else. So even if your prices are a little bit high, if you have good relationship with your customers, they'll keep coming back. Something to think about. Stop and notice next time you go to the supermarket. You're at the check stand and there's the checker and the box boy. Are they spending a lot of time talking to each other, or are they talking to you? When I worked in the market, our job was to welcome the customer, make them feel at home, and get to know them. So we were able to do that, and especially we were able to call them by name. That was kind of brownie points for us. but we spent a lot of time just talking, between the checker and the checker and the other checker in the next aisle, or the checker and the box boy. That's not good. That's not what they wanted to see. Okay, growing up with goals, my childhood dream was to become a teacher. Oh, I think I mentioned it somewhere along the line. I got a teacher that inspired me. Other jobs I considered to try? Well, I considered being a mailman. I even took the written test, but I never followed up on it. I was thinking of that for a little bit. My favorite job over the year. Let's see, my experience with the military. I never joined the military. The draft ended in 1974, so just when I was in high school. So I was not drafted. They started the volunteer army, and I never volunteered. My mom discouraged us from entering into the military, and I think it's because her brothers were serving in World War II and the Korea War, and that was an experience for her, and she didn't want for us to go through that. I was very tempted, though, to join in 1980 because of an incident that happened. There was a Marine base that was hit in Lebanon, and I got the patriotic stirring within me, and I was considering it, but for some reason, I changed my mind. I really don't remember what happened or why. My most shining school moments, this achievement made my family proud. Well, of course, I'm the oldest of my brothers and sisters, so being the oldest, my parents were very proud when I graduated high school in 1974, when I got my bachelor's degree from Cal State Los Angeles in 1980, and when I got my master's degree from the University of Phoenix in 2004. This achievement made me proud when my mom when your mom, now that's right, when your mom, Dante, Jade, when your mom told me that she was going to be a mommy, that was the best day of my life. I still remember that and I'll never forget it. Some other awards or honors I received, I got some, some certificates, some things from school, but I don't have it recorded down here. It says, together time, show your grandchildren some photos of these moments. Well, you probably have it somewhere in a photo album. Okay, last page real quick says adults who inspired me, and I have this blank right here. Motivating coaches and leaders. Um, I miss Steele because I remember her. She put the teaching bug in me, and there have been other, Mr. Rasmussen. He was a good, kind teacher, um, but I really can't think of anybody specifically. Meaningful mentors and instructors, I'm leaving that blank as well. Like a second set of parents, well, I don't know, that's kind of hard because my mom and dad, my mom was with us all the time. Um, um, she really encouraged us. She encouraged all of us to do our best to go to college, whatever career that we wanted to do. And even her grandchildren, like mommy and Auntie Grace and everybody else, she always encouraged them to go to school, to learn, to do the best that they could, and and good things like that. Um, the only thing I could say would probably be my grandmother, because my grandmother stayed with us, and she um, always prayed for us. I remember that more than anything else. She would get up at 6 in the morning, and she would pray for not only myself and my brothers, but for all my cousins as well. I remember hearing her calling us out by name as she prayed. So that is something. She lived with us. She had her own little bedroom, and she had like a little altar that she had, a little candle that she lit, and she would pray for us. Okay, so that's the end of this section right here. And looking at the time, I only got about 40 seconds left. So that's it for today. Talk to you next time.